I want to talk about causality loops and the causality loop paradox. To me, this is not a paradox because I understand how it makes sense. This paradox basically is that in physics, experiments have shown that a future event that was caused by a past event actually causes the past event. So, to give you an example, if you're going to boil a pot of water, the pot of water boiling in the future caused you to decide to boil the pot of water in the past. And this is why scientists are puzzled, because what it seems to show is that the future causes the past as well as the past causing the future. So how does this make sense? Well, it makes sense with how I view reality. So imagine the void. There's nothing defined within the void, and because there's nothing outside of the void. And you have to have a contrast to define something. Now imagine the void being filled with information. If you want to imagine the information something like ones and zeros, but that information would have no meaning if there is not consciousness to decipher the meaning. It would just be information. Meaningless information. Now within that void, within that information is every possibility that could ever exist of anything. Information for any reality. And the determining factor for the reality that is experienced is consciousness. And how consciousness finds meaning in the information is the reality that we see. But there is not an objective thing that is real and then that which is not real seems real because we have given meaning to the information that has no external meaning without us giving it its meaning. There is not a reality outside of consciousness because without it, it's just void. In other words, what you see as real in your reality is only real because you have determined it to be. What you experience when you decide, well, I saw this and I saw that, so it means this, you're giving it its meaning, making it evidence, making it real. Everything that is real determined by your perspective right now. Your perspective right now has an entire past and an entire future already laid out. Because we are only seeing a slice of time. If we could see the fourth dimension, they say is time, would see that in this moment right now, the past and the future have already been created. This is why they seem to cause each other, because they happen right now. I'm going to illustrate what it means for the life that we live, what it implies and how we can apply it. So basically, what this helped me understand is that our reaction to events also cause the events to have happened in the past. So if someone does something to you, something happens, causes some shitty feeling to come up within you. That shitty feeling that comes up within you caused that event to happen. That's what this is saying. However, it's not like it goes back in time. It's that time is now. Based on now, there's an entire future and an entire past laid out. So the event that happened that caused you to feel shitty is because in the present moment now, you were a person that would react a certain way to that event. So it would be like you're shining a light into the void in a certain direction, and that light goes on forever. However, you can only see 5 feet in front of you. So we think that the entire future is not created already, but it is with each moment, depending on which direction you shine that light. So based on who you believe yourself to be, your identity, all the meaning, both conscious and subconscious, have determined your future actions at the very same time as your past actions. Because the only time is now. Now includes the past, present, and future. And it's not that the past, present, and future can only be one thing. It's determined by which direction you're shining that light. In other words, the meaning that you're giving to the information. Listen to my last video And this video, again, if you haven't wrapped your mind completely around this, because I'm going to go into specific things in our life and show you how to see them differently, how to basically aim that light where you want it to go. So let's look at how we perceive things now. A lot of what we believe is based on our past, how we remember it, the meaning we gave it, and how we perceived it. But with this causality loop theory in mind, what this would mean is that A does not cause B. So planting a seed in the ground for a tree to grow and growing it does not cause the grown tree more than the grown tree caused you to plant the seed in the ground to grow it. Because the real cause is the meaning that you've given it, you. Witness, the one who's perceiving it. You may only perceive planting the seed right now because you're not seeing all of time. But the grown tree and every action in that timeline, you could say, were all caused in this moment right now by your perception right now. So to scientists, it can look like A caused B and B caused A. With this in mind, you can no longer say, well, I did this because of this person's action or this event. Because those events and that person's actions also happened because of your future response to them. You can no longer look at a situation as separate from you. So in other words, say that tomorrow I'm driving and I get in a car wreck. And then the next day I have to go take my car to a place to get it fixed. The way this looks like in physicists' experiments is that in 2 days I went to a shop, so the day before I got in a wreck. But really the entire timeline is laid out based on how you're perceiving right now. You could say the past and the future are predetermined. You could say that the past and the future are predetermined in a sense. You could say that the past and the future are predetermined in a sense because in every moment right now, the whole thing is laid out based on who you are, what you believe, and the meaning that you give to reality in this moment. So then I can no longer blame outside people, situations for happening in my life. Say I was attacked by someone. I cannot say it was their fault that I was attacked. I cannot blame an earthquake taking my house. All of these things that happen in our lives, we say that we're victim to. We are only victim to them because that is the meaning that we have given it. Because if you remember, all that is there is information, and it is not reality until we have given that information meaning. A lot of people see things in the world that they want to change. They see problems in the world that they don't want to happen. But with this view of reality, that reality is how you perceive the information out there. The information is not a thing until you have made meaning of it. Then you can no longer look at an issue or problem in the world and say it's not you. You have to look at it as a whole. And I mean with everything. Why in your reality are there people killing people? Why is that something that you are perceiving? Why are there people starving? Why are there people sick? To be able to change anything in your reality, you have to understand yourself. Understanding these people, you can see the reflection of yourself. Everyone and everything around you, trying to show you what you are perceiving yourself to be. And it wakes you up to more of who you actually are. Seeing these false perceptions based on fear,